everyone. Welcome to our first group on anxiety. My name is Laura, and I will be the group facilitator for all 12 weeks that we are here in this group. And you are all here because you're learning to live, or you are living with anxiety to some degree. I'm looking forward to facilitating this group, and hopefully we can all learn from each other. And I would just love if we could all go around the circle to introduce ourselves. You can just give your first names.
My name's Lucy. I am Bethany.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi, well great. Welcome everyone. Since it's our first time meeting, I would like your help in setting some group rules. There is one that I'm going to make mandatory. It's very important and it's confidentiality. I just want to make sure that everyone knows what is said in this group stays in this group. I'm not going to go home and then talk to my husband about anything that you say, and I would like your commitment in that as well. So is everybody in agreement that we can make that our first rule?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, next I would love to hear from you what rules are important to you. So if you think of something, you can feel free to raise your hand and share what you feel would be an important rule, and then we'll vote on them to make sure that everyone agrees. Go ahead.
It's really important to me that everyone tries to keep their phones away if possible. I don't want it to become a distraction if someone's on Instagram next to me.
Great. Thank you, Bethany. Please raise your hand if you feel that's a rule that you agree with, that we should implement. Okay, great. So we'll write limited phone use. Okay, great. What is next?
It would be helpful to me if we are respectful of each other's thoughts when we are talking. Can we write down no interruptions, please?
Sure. Thank you, Jessica. Please raise your hand if you agree with no interruptions. Okay, great. Okay, any other thoughts?
I really feel like attendance is important, and I would like it if we could have the rule of attending every time unless it's an emergency.
Okay, thank you, Lucy. Please raise your hand if you agree that attendance is important to you. Okay, great. I'm just going to write down attendance. Okay, great. Anything else?
It's important for me that if we have a snack, it must be a fruit or veggie. A lot of other foods can contribute to cancer, and I want to avoid them.
Okay, thank you, Bethany. Would anybody else like to make that a group rule that we have a very healthy snack every time we meet? Okay, well, Bethany, it looks like we're not in agreement that this should be a group rule, so I can make sure to bring some fruit for you each time, but we may have other snacks available as well.
Thank you.
Yep. So any other thoughts? No? Okay, well, it looks like our group rules are confidentiality, limited phone use, no interruptions, and then attendance. So thank you for adding to those. Next, we're going to do a short icebreaker activity where we get to know each other a little bit, and then we can feel a little bit more comfortable, hopefully, opening up. So we're each going to roll a die, and then the number on it corresponds with a question that I read. So is there anybody that volunteers to go first? Okay, so I have a hunch, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing that this might be because of anxiety, and that's totally fine, that's why we're here. So how about I start, and then we'll go around the circle after that. Okay, so I rolled a 3, and my question would be, if you could eat only one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? My answer would be tacos, because I feel like there's a lot of variety. You can put anything in a taco shell and call it a taco, so kind of like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to you.
I rolled a 1.
Okay, well, Bethany, your question is, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Well, I love traveling, and it brings me so much joy. I've always wanted to go to Greece, but it gives me too much anxiety to travel.
Okay, Bethany, you said on the one hand that travel brings you joy, but on the other hand, it gives you anxiety. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Well, it really does give me joy to travel because I love to see new places and try new foods, but I think I'm going to get hurt or die when traveling, and then I won't be there for my kids.
Mhm.
So I haven't traveled in the last 5 years since my husband died. I really miss it.
Okay, would you say that it is your anxiety that's preventing you from traveling?
Yes, I would. I always had a little bit of anxiety before my husband died, but I really got out of control after he passed away. I'm hoping to gain some tools in this group.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that, Bethany. We're glad to have you here. Okay, up next, how about we go with Lucy?
I rolled a 2.
Okay, well, Lucy, your question is, if you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 things would you bring with you?
I bring my phone, a water purifier, and my boyfriend.
Okay, those are 3 great things. Can you share more about the decision to bring your boyfriend?
Well, we've only been dating 3 months, but I think he's the one. I'm actually here because of him, because I don't want my anxiety to impact our relationship like it has impacted past romantic relationships.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, Lucy. I'm very glad that you're here. Let's pass it along to Jessica.
I got a 6.
Okay, well, Jessica, if you found a magic lamp and could ask a genie for 1 wish, what would it be?
That's easy. I wish that I would be able to leave my house without any anxiety.
Okay, Jessica, if you could rate your anxiety on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being like very minimal anxiety, 10 being so severe you're not able to function in society, where would you put yourself on that scale?
I would say it's usually around a 7.
Okay, can you tell me why you put yourself at a 7?
It's because I can still leave the house and do things. I just avoid a lot of situations.
Okay, what type of situations do you usually avoid? Are you willing to share that?
Yes, I'll share. Usually I avoid anything where I might bump into someone and feel stuck talking to them, like the grocery store, for example. Instead of going into the store to shop, I almost always do grocery pickup. I also hate answering my front door if I don't know who's knocking.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, Jessica. I know now we know a little bit more about each other, and I would love to dive further into why we're here. Well, we all know that this group is an anxiety group and that we're here to support each other and learn skills to cope with anxiety. Does anyone have ways that they currently cope to deal with anxiety?
I'll be honest, I have a glass of wine when I'm getting anxious. It helps me to calm down.
I will also drink a glass of wine to help calm my anxiety at times.
So it looks like both Lucy and Jessica have similar coping skills and that they drink a glass of wine to help with their anxiety. Bethany, can you relate to that at all?
No, I don't drink. I know it's not good for me, and I only eat or drink things that are good for me.
Okay, so that's not something you use to cope with anxiety. Can you think of anything that you do to deal with it?
I guess I just scroll on my phone a lot to try to distract my thoughts from thinking anxious thoughts.
Okay. Our minds are powerful, aren't they? So it's hard when we have those intrusive, anxious thoughts, and our main activity here today actually helps us to challenge those negative, anxious thoughts that we have. So I would like each of you to write on the whiteboard 1 anxious thought that you've had, and then the group is going to help us frame them in a positive way. Actually, I'll just ask each of you, and then you can tell me what your thought is, and I'll write it up there rather than having to have all of you get up. I'm going to erase our rules so we have some room. So does anybody want to start? Okay, go ahead, Jessica.
People I run into will think I am weird.
Okay. So thank you so much. And anybody else have a volunteer? Or is anybody else willing to volunteer their thoughts?
That I'm going to die and my kids will not have a parent to raise them.
Okay, thank you so much for that one. And then how about you, Lucy?
Yeah, sometimes I worry that I will die alone without anyone to love me.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about Jessica's first. So she said that if she runs into people that they will think that she's weird. That's what her thoughts are. Has anyone else had those thoughts before?
I have. I can really get in my head, and that's all I can think about when I meet new people.
Well, it is good to be aware of the thoughts that we're thinking so we can reframe them into positive thoughts when they pop into our head. So how can we make this into a positive statement instead of the negative statement? Go ahead, Bethany.
We could put something like people like me for who I am down.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Jessica, what are your thoughts on that statement?
I mean, I think it will be helpful as long as I keep remembering it and don't allow other thoughts to come in.
It can be hard to focus on the positive, but the more we do it, the easier it will get. So now how about this one? I'm going to die and my kids will have no parents. Lucy?
I could say my kids and I are safe right now. If something happens to me, my family will take care of them.
Okay. I'm just going to shorten that by writing kids safe, have family to help. Great. So, Bethany, how does that make you feel reading that statement?
It honestly does help. I sometimes feel like it is all on me to raise my kids since my husband passed away. So to remember that others could help if something happened to me relieves some of my anxiety.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that, Bethany. Family can be a really good resource while raising kids. Now, for our last statement, I will die alone without anyone to love me. How can we change that to a positive statement?
Maybe we could say, even if I am not in a romantic relationship, I still have people in my life that love me.
Okay. Okay, Lucy, what are your thoughts on that statement?
I feel a little conflicted.
Yeah? Can you expand on that for me?
Well, I still feel anxious about dying without ever having found someone to share my life with. But I do have a lot of people who love me, including my siblings that I'm very close with.
Yeah, it can be hard when our lives don't turn out the way that we hoped or thought they would. What specifically about like a romantic relationship is important to you?
Honestly, I can't pinpoint it. It's probably just one of those things that because I don't have it, I feel like I'm missing out.
That's a really good observation, Lucy. Has anyone else dealt with those feelings before?
I have. I hope to find someone to share my life with someday, but I'm trying to focus on my kids and how to better myself before that happens.
And that's a really good goal, Bethany. Even being here for this group and, you know, talking with all of us today is taking a step forward to being a healthier person. And I would like you to keep thinking about your thoughts, the anxious, negative thoughts that you're having during this coming week. So anytime you notice that you're having an anxious or a negative thought, I want you to write it down and then reframe it like we did today, making it a positive statement. And then next week at group, if you feel comfortable, we can share a few thoughts and ways that you reframe them. And now I would like to close with a little bit of a relaxation exercise, and you can take this home and do it at home as well. Since our bodies can store a lot of stress, this exercise is helpful because it can release any tension that you feel at the end of the day. So I would like you to close your eyes. You can place one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach and just start breathing in deeply. So bring to mind a place in nature that's very peaceful and very calm, somewhere where you would either like to go or have been that feels settling and calming. When this place is clear in your mind's eye, think about your five senses. And in your mind's eye, look around. Look at this place and see the landscape. See the colors, the textures. Notice if the sun is shining. Is it shady? Become aware of what is around you. Next, bring awareness to the sounds that you hear. The sounds that are close up and the sounds that are far away. What sounds of nature do you hear? Now think about what you smell. Take in any scents and smells that bring joy to you in this place. Next, I would like you to take a moment and imagine what this place would feel like on your skin. Are you in the sunlight or the shade? Is it warm, humid? Is it cold and brisk? Is it windy? So just take a moment to imagine what it would feel like to be in this place. now I'd like you to take just another moment to absorb anything else that feels calming and soothing from this calm place. And we'll close this practice with 3 soothing inhales and exhales. So when we breathe in, we will hold our breath for 4 seconds and then we'll exhale for 4 seconds. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now you can slowly open your eyes. Great. So this activity can be used at home anytime you're feeling anxious. It can help just bring calmness to your body. And we have about 5 minutes left, so I would like to recap what we did in our meeting today. So we went over introductions, we all met each other. We set some group rules and we did an icebreaker. And then we did the activity on reframing our negative thoughts. So please remember to complete your at-home work of journaling and reframing, and then you can bring those back to group next time. Does anybody have any questions or feedback about our session today?
Next week, do we have to share all of our anxious thoughts we recorded over the week?
You can share the ones that you feel comfortable with. So I encourage you to pick at least one, so the group can hear how you worked through those anxious feelings. But if you don't want to share them all, then you can keep some of them to yourself. So does anybody else have anything else? No? Well, thank you for coming today, and I will look forward to seeing you next Wednesday night at 6 p.m. this same place.